Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, September 16th. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Sonia Srivastava. Thank you for joining us this evening. The trial of a 29-year-old man accused of killing his stepfather back in 2013 gets underway after 2 days of jury selection. The defendant, Antoine James, is charged with first-degree murder. Rochelle Metzger is in Upper Marlboro with that.
The defendant in this case was once a firefighter in the District of Columbia. The victim, his stepfather, a D.C. homicide detective. Antoine James was living in his family's Upper Marlboro home back in April 2013 when prosecutors say he got angry, pulled out a gun, and shot and killed 46-year-old Joseph Newell over a disagreement about being asked to help out with yard work. The events on April 22, 2013 played out in this Upper Marlboro community. Joseph Newell asked two of his stepsons to help with the yard work. One went, the other, Antoine James, stayed on the couch. Today, Bernadette James Newell took the stand. She denies any tension between her husband and James. James Newell says she asked her son repeatedly when he was going to go, before eventually yelling at him to either help or leave. Moments later, shots rang out, and she recalls running to the doorway to see her husband on the ground and Antoine standing in front of him with a smoking gun in hand. Also going on at the courthouse today, the retrial of a High Point High School teacher and football coach begins this morning with jury selection. Andre Brown is accused of sexually abusing a 17-year-old girl on school grounds back in 2013. The case was first tried back in March but ended in a hung jury. From the courthouse in Upper Marlboro, I'm Rochelle Metzger.
Now, the prosecution will continue presenting its case in the Antoine James trial tomorrow.
Maryland legislators announced an emergency bill that would empower the Prince George's County Council to decide whether government-funded hospitals can close. The measure comes less than 2 months after Dimension's healthcare system disclosed a controversial plan to shut down Laurel Regional Hospital.
The bill simply says that the law should be, and certainly should be going forward, that if they're considering closing down a hospital, the taxpayers have put all this money into, the county council sitting as the Board of Health needs to get notice, needs to have a hearing, and needs to be able to provide input.
How will this affect this Dimension's decision at this point in time?
Not clear. There are many stages of this process. The Dimensions hasn't even gotten their certificate of need from the state for the new hospital they want to build in Laurel. We don't know whether they're going to get that approval. There are all kinds of open questions. The governor has not put in the money that we provided for support for this year for Prince George's Hospital and for Laurel Hospital, so there are uncertainties with the governor. So I think it's not clear how this is going to play out.
The bill requires hospitals give the council 90 days notice before closure. It mandates that the Board of Health hold a public hearing within 5 miles of the hospital and within 30 days of receiving the hospital's notice.
Well, police say a man charged with sexually assaulting a 7-year-old girl may have targeted others. Our Latifa Majid has more.
That's right. Luis Cruz Aguilera is in custody right now for the sexual assault that happened on August 29th, but police do believe that there could be more victims. I'm here with Detective Kevin Filinich with the Laurel Police Department. Detective, tell me what happened on that day.
Basically, on the day, the suspect is an associate of the victim's father and had inquired about helping with a birthday party celebration on the 31st of August. On that day, the victim's father picked up the suspect, Luis Cruz Aguilar, from a local bakery here in Laurel and proceeded to take them back to their house located on 4th Street to set up for a birthday party. In that time, Luis Cruz had lured the victim away from her parents into a bedroom where he sexually assaulted her.
Now, did he give any indication that there may be more victims out there?
As of right now, there is no indication from him that there are any other victims out there. However, when he was arrested, he was known to have an open warrant through Prince George's County for a similar offense back in 2010.
And if there are more victims out there, what can they do to get in contact with you guys?
If there's any victims out there, they can definitely contact the Laurel Police Department, specifically myself with the Criminal Investigations Division, and we can definitely look into any instances or any similarities of any cases further.
Anyone with information on this case can contact Laurel Police directly. In Laurel, I'm Latifah Majid, CTV News.
And the number to reach Laurel Police is 301-498-0092.
The first death from the West Nile virus has been confirmed in Maryland. The Department of Health and Mental Hygiene says the patient, an older adult living in Baltimore County, died on September 8th. Now, officials say there have been 29 confirmed cases of the infection so far this year in Maryland, compared to 6 last year. Now, the disease has been detected in mosquito pools collected in Anne Arundel, Baltimore, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties.
Well, since the first GOP debate, Republican presidential hopefuls have spent weeks provoking one another online and in the media. Tonight, the candidates will have another chance to engage in person as CNN hosts the second debate. Moderator Jake Tapper says his goal is to spur more conversation between rivals. The TV event begins at 8 p.m. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Sonia Srivastava.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.